Province, second floor house build update. This is a thing that they make to rock back and forth and filter the sand to get the impurities out. Then they make the concrete in a circle like you're making biscuits. If you've ever seen someone do that, they put the cement and sand around in a circle, pour water in the middle, and then mix it towards the middle. Lots of concrete there. Scaffold's still up because they're going to make the hollow block smooth like that wall over there. It's just a mixture of concrete that they smooth it on with wooden trowels. And then the last stage is to put a skim coat of a white skimming compound to make the finished wall and also lighten it up. Like downstairs in my mother-in-law's kitchen, it lightens it up so much she's not even going to paint it right away. It just looks so much better. Before they had the dark area there, and it just makes the room so dark. So yesterday we had a little problem. When they were building the wall at first up, they weren't connecting it to the rebar in the columns. So it's only got concrete bond going up the columns there. And I caught them. My father-in-law wasn't supervising and they just weren't thinking. So you can see up at the top where there's fresh concrete, they dug into the concrete to where they could see the rebar, and then they weld that rebar to the other spot. They'll build a form around that rebar right there, and it will create a header to hold up the blocks on top of the window. Same there, make it structurally sound. We decided to make a CR, a restroom, on the second level, but make it as small as possible. So we have as much living area up here, because that area there on the other side of this column is going to be an outside porch to sit on, because it's almost sunset tonight, but there's no real sunset to watch. And we've got like down below that area there is a big restroom with a full shower. This one will be smaller. It's just gonna have a toilet and a sink, stand-up shower, and it's on window. And then we weren't really thinking about making a restroom up here, so we had a window over there. So now we're going to just split that into a window on this side, a window on that side, because I do believe we'll probably be sleeping up here most of the time. And I've also thought about renting this out as an Airbnb when we're living away from here, when I find a nicer location, because I don't want to live in the province. I said I was going to stop building on this house because it's totally livable downstairs, but it doesn't cost that much, you know. And I said I'm just going to finish the upstairs in case my wife wants to live here in the province after I'm passed away. But this level, there's a breeze up here above the sugarcane, and it has a nice view out that way. So making the windows big, so if the weather's nice, can just open the windows. The hollow blocks go all the way up to there, and I'm going to have them install some wiring and things like that to keep any kind of bugs and critters from crawling in there. And then there'll be what they call kissimmee, which is just a suspended ceiling over this area, and then there will be an insulation above that. Most of the electrical will come down from the top, just for plugs and things. The kitchen's already downstairs. But the labor is so cheap. Materials aren't that expensive. So if you just kind of take your time and build, you can build a house here in the Philippines. We have steps on the outside there. So that's the funny thing. Yeah, you have to go kind of outside under that overhang and up the steps to get to the second floor. But that would have taken a lot of space out of the interior to have a stairwell. And so later on I can enclose that stairwell, but for now it's just sheltered from the rain with the overhang. I was going to enclose this porch all with glass, but since we're not going to be here full time, it would just be expensive to do that. I could do it later if I wanted to, but as long as there's a view. This is out on the porch, and then between those two columns will be all glass, and all glass here. And we'll put a nice sofa up here, and we'll have nice chairs to sit out here on the porch, and some plants and things and some railings, just to enjoy the nice thing about the province when things get quiet, and the beautiful landscape, and then the sunsets and the breeze. It can be very nice here. But that's it for today. Just a little more paint on that. That's their dirty kitchen that's not painted. That's the outside kitchen. They just painted that roof to keep the tin. And our Lola lives right next door, and they did hardy board on the second floor on that one. And they have a concrete frame around the top, but I don't think the roof is concrete. Maybe it is. It's a different kind of construction there, a little more native. But that's it. That's a little talking. You see how these rods came out from the construction of the first floor. All that construction junk needs to be cleaned up. But like, that's a window for the shower downstairs. And that's how just the concrete smoothing stuff looks like on the outside. And a coconut tree. That's kind of a buffer. We left that up to kind of protect the corner of the house from the giant sugarcane trucks that go down this big ruts. They pass like right by the edge of the house. And that kind of just keeps them off us and a little bit more over to the other side. You can see over there, they're burning a field that's been harvested. They're burning all the husk that got cut off the sugarcane, cleaning it up, getting it ready to replant. And this is all small sugarcane right here. It'll be 7-8 foot tall when they harvest it. But like downstairs, it blocks all the breeze, and you can't see anything but sugarcane standing up in front of the window. But my piece of advice, if you come to live in the Philippines and you find a wonderful Filipina that lives in the province, don't go living in the province to make her happy, because you're going to be miserable here. I think most will. It's too rural. Nobody speaks English. The culture is so different. But if you just go to an area that's populated more with educated people in the city, or even near it, outside the edge of a tourist area, you'll find a nicer infrastructure and people that you can talk to. And you won't get looked at so funny. When I first came here, everybody's looking at me like I'm an alien from space, but now everybody knows me. There's like another handful of foreigners living in this area, but I'm known here now. Philippines can be nice. I got a beautiful wife. Has a healthy baby, 2 months and 1 week old. But I'm really longing to go back to the USA, so I'll finish this house up. We'll travel here a little bit and finish getting Erica's visa. That's going to take over a year. And then we'll see about maybe moving to the USA and try that out for a while. We can always come back here. So it remains to be seen.